What's up, my dudes? It's the Vigorous Q&A again. Last or 2 weeks ago, we did the finance Q&A. Nobody showed up. So for all of the guys that missed out on golden opportunities regarding finance advice, your loss. Actually, I have video on demand, right, on YouTube, so you can watch it back, no problem, and use the timestamps to skip to a section that you're interested in. Today, we're going to do a Vigorous Q&A, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and title, test, Deca, Ment, and maybe some Trembolone is in the picture. All right. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. In the meantime, please let me know how the audio sounds so I know they'll continue without any drama and hiccups and audio issues. So put it in the chat. Is the audio okay? Is it sucks? Is it, well, monetization is gone. Let me know how the audio is, and in the meantime, we'll do some housekeeping. Subscribe to the Clips channel. Yes, even though I don't really upload that frequently to this YouTube channel, I upload 2 videos, even though it's old content, to the Clips channel, where everything is basically in 8 to 12 minute segments of all of the longer deep dives that I've produced over the years, and with a link to the full deep dive on this YouTube channel, obviously. We're now at, what is it, 8,000 subs over there, Switch account, 7,500. And the ad revenue is absolutely going ballistic. So that's good. Everybody's watching, about 1,000 to 2,000 views per video. So that's good. I did a podcast with the DDT methods, in case you haven't watched it yet. And also did a podcast with the HackU media podcast with Mike Thurston and Vadim Vedetov. We had a good discussion about peptides and NAD versus Enhanced and all that kind of stuff. So that was a very interesting podcast with those 2 guys, with the Mike and Vadim. And I would highly recommend you to watch it if you haven't watched it already. It's all linked down below. And again, as usual, guys, you don't have to ask me about BPC-157 and TB-500 or any kind of healing protocol, because the healing protocol is linked down below for free. So you don't have to super chat. And even if you super chat, I'm going to let you know that the healing protocol is down below. All right, sound is skipping a little bit. Is it good to go or what? Guys, let me know if the audio is good. I'm doing my best, even though the setup is not 100% great. Let's see. In the meantime, we'll do the, where is it? We'll do the intro, and then we can get started on the PhD questions. All right. Hope you got it. All right. Audio is good. Good. Let's get started. I saw that Joshua Kevin Perry posted a boatload of questions, so we're going to start with him right away. So Joshua asked, so there's a housing market crash coming in 2027-ish? Yeah, about 2026 to 2027. That's expected based on the 18-year real estate cycle. The last one was about 2007, 2008. And it's expected to, start crashing from 2026, 2027 for about a year or 2. And then you can get houses on a discount. But that also means that stocks and all kinds of assets are going to go down the drain. Now, in 2007, 2008, in case you haven't been up to speed, you weren't around at that time, or you weren't really in the loop about the financial situation, go watch The Big Short. It's a great movie about the financial housing crisis back in 2008, where everything was over-leveraged and people who shouldn't have a mortgage actually got a mortgage, and then everything kind of fell apart and took the stock exchange down with it. So that it's probably going to happen again, albeit not to the insane extent that happened in 2008. So is that U.S. or worldwide? That's going to be worldwide. As you see now by the housing prices, they're basically going vertical. And a lot of those houses where the value is going vertical, or the sell price is going vertical, doesn't mean it's the value. It's just the asking price. And that asking price might come down by 30% a couple of years from now. And it's going to be worldwide, because worldwide all the house prices are going up here in Thailand, in Holland, the United States, basically anywhere. The housing prices are going up, and it has to do with inflation and greed and not demand. Not because of demand. There's plenty of empty houses out there. I mean, if you go to any website where they sell houses, you can see that there's plenty of houses for sale, but the asking price is just way too high. Especially now with the economy not doing so well and people, having to buy McDonald's in 4 installments. It's not going to end well. I'm a registered nurse. I cared for disabled and dying children. Okay, I'm considering different countries. So you could do that basically elsewhere. If you're care for disabled and dying children, you could do that worldwide, obviously. But if you want to change different countries to go steroids, marriage, S-tier women, I'm supposing, and air conditioning, In most countries in the planet have air conditioning, S-tier women, and air conditioning. If you need air conditioning, that's the second question. And if you can find the S-tier women, that's also a second question. Which country has the best smelling cocaine? Asking for a friend. So you want to go to Colombia, I guess. They probably have disabled and dying children where you could work as a registered nurse for a fraction of your salary that you would make in the United States. They have steroids in Colombia. S-tier women for sure, air conditioning for sure if you get a nice condominium, and allegedly the best smelling cocaine. So Colombia or anywhere South America. In Thailand, the cocaine is allegedly absolutely subpar. And even though all those guys on Sukhumvit Road and Patong and walking streets and whatever, they try to sell you Coca-Cola. That's not the Coca-Cola that I was growing up with. Certainly not the quality that I grew up with. So I would not even bother. Talking about Coca-Cola, Gorilla Mind, Orange Rush. You see how fucking humid it is in this room? It's fucking. I haven't been in this room in 2 weeks. Water everywhere. Assuming all steroids are risk-free and super safe, if you have to put on 20 pounds of muscle on everybody because aliens have invaded to conquer Earth, what would you do? Well, Tren, obviously, makes you not give a fuck. And if the aliens are here to invade Earth, then Battlefield Earth is a great movie. Like, if all those humans were on some sort of Sazul test in Tren and Halo testing, oh man, those aliens would not survive. The Rastafarian aliens. No. Should watch that movie again. It's such a bad movie that it deserves another watch. Battlefield Earth. Okay, drug questions. Here we go. On 300 tests, 200 Primo, 14 IUs of growth hormone. Is that per week or per day? 2 milligrams retatrutide weekly. Okay, so I'm assuming the growth hormone or retatrutide is weekly. Issued daily. I issue my retatrutide daily. Last 12 weeks, blood work all good. With the shortage finally out of Primo. Thoughts on swapping to 200 milligrams EQ. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, it seems that Primo is sold out everywhere. Like some of the sources stocked up on Mastron, which then sold out quite fast. And now they're like one of the, like BP, Belagas, for example. They had Mastron in stock for a while and then it sold out and now it's gone again. Of course, I stocked up plenty. So I have enough Mastron and Primobolan in my drug cabinet to last the next 2 or 3 zombie apocalypses. So I'm good. And I got some Bayarimobolan, baby. Oh yeah, last batch. In the drug cabinet, just for me though. No resale, and nobody gets to rape and pillage my drug cabinet. That's all mine. So yeah, you can switch it for Primo or for EQ or Mastron if you can find it. Mastron is a little bit less anabolic and maybe suppresses your estradiol less than the EQ. So if you want to continue with a similar look, I would say EQ or maybe DHB. You know, some people still favor it. They don't get any lipid problems or inflammatory response. So I would go with EQ or DHB. But EQ is easy to source, low injection volume. So you go from 2 cc's Primo to, what is it, 0.66 cc's EQ, because EQ is usually 300 milligrams per 1 milliliter. Some labs brew it 500 milligrams per 1 milliliter, but I prefer the traditional concentrations of 300 milligrams per 1 milliliter. So I would just switch to EQ. You know, watch those 2 deep dives that I have on my YouTube channel about kidney health, and that you know how to protect yourself. Basically, long story short, keep your estrogen at the top of the reference range, and this ratio should get that done. And make sure you have plenty of antioxidants, because all of the kidney damage that Boldenone allegedly potentiates, shown in the scientific evidence in humans and animal models, was alleviated, or not alleviated, ameliorated, prevented, offset by antioxidants like vitamin C, royal jelly, and then glutathione probably, right? So as long as you supplement with antioxidants alongside your EQ, you're probably good. And again, steroids, all steroids, raise oxidative stress. Let's see. Next, super chat. Zime, 300 EQ, 300 Deca. Got Gyno with estradiol crash. Prolactin 3.8 micrograms per liter and estradiol minus or below 40 micrograms per liter. What is the reason and how to prevent this with Deca? So it could be, and this is rare, that the esterone that EQ produces in the liver converts into estradiol locally in the gynecomastia tissue area, right, and around the nipple site. And then you can detect it in serum, but because it converts from estrone to estradiol locally around the gyno tissue, you still get gyno. Now, Deca obviously can activate the progesterone receptor and potentiate some gyno through that, especially if there's estradiol present. And prolactin is, oh, that's on the low side. So I would assume that that has no contributing factor. So that could be my speculation. And again, below 40 picomoles per liter is very, very low. Normally it goes up to 150. And on this cycle, with 675 milligrams aromatizable compounds, the combination of testosterone and nandrolone, I would assume that the EQ is not high enough to really crush your estradiol that much. So, or your super low body fat. So again, take the Deca out, maybe run some raloxifene, and then see how much of the inflammation and the gyno tissue actually remains behind for you to consider surgery. But I did surgery, and it was the best decision I ever made. It looks very, very nice now on my lower chest. Absolutely amazing. What is the reason how to prevent this with Deca? Don't take Deca or do the gyno surgery. I'm running test Deca and Ment right now, a little bit of an aromatase inhibitor, and I might throw in a little bit of Trembolone sandwich. You know, when there's 200 people watching, and I can ask you guys if anybody ever made that particular combination. You know, so, but I had the gyno surgery already, so I've no real water retention, no sensitive nipples. My estradiol is okay. Well, I'll have to check that tomorrow. I'll do blood work tomorrow and then see if there's any wiggle room for some Trembolone sandwich, because as soon as you put the Trembolone in with non-sensitive conventional estradiol testing, your estradiol goes to the moon on the test, which is actually the Trembolone detecting as estradiol. So I need to know what the estradiol is first. And I'm not even sure if it's the 7-alpha methyl estradiol that Tristalone produces can detect on the non-sensitive test. So maybe it doesn't detect actual estradiol, albeit 7-alpha methyl estradiol, but it does detect Trembolone. Numbers on paper. I do feel pretty fucking good, and this diet is really going well. My lower back is now into the point that when you walk, you get a skin fold. So every step that I take, I get a skin fold. Left, right, left, right, left, right. So a couple more weeks, and then that's gone. And then the lower back is in, and then I should lose the fat systemically. And then the face should finally sunk in, but it's already a lot better than it was before. Skipping a little. All right, we're good now. Sean Sullivan, a resident stunt performer. Post-training that particular area, what? You weren't joking about copper post-injection. Oh, okay. GHK copper post-injection pain. Haven't felt anything like that since Quality Vet test of 100. Quality Vet, yeah, that was some hardcore potent stuff, allegedly. Never used it myself, but from all the Americans that I know that used Quality Vet or anything that came from Mexico over the border, post-injection pain in a bottle. Yeah. So GHK copper is pretty brutal. So massage the area well and deal with the pain. It's not as bad as gonorrhea, allegedly. SLU PP332 injections versus oral, how to dose. I'm not entirely sure what the bioavailability is of oral SLU PP332. I've heard through the grapevine that it's maybe 40 or 50%. And injectable is obviously a bioavailability of 100%, unless a little bit remains back in the depot, metabolizes there, and then it doesn't enter systemic circulation. So basically, it's twice as potent. So if you were doing 500 micrograms oral SLU, then you would go to 250 micrograms injectable SLU. Now, I have SLU powder on the way, because Gorilla Chemist is the first one to ramp up the dosages and walk away unscathed. Had a great result. I should get in touch with him for a podcast, but I keep forgetting. Daddy issues. Not daddy issues with my daddy, but I'm a father now, and then every time I have to do something comes up with the baby, and then I'm like, oh, okay, my Jetsia, I'll breastfeed you or bottle feed you, and I'll change your diaper and burp you, and then 2 hours has passed, and then I forget what I was doing. So I need to get in touch with Gorilla Chemist about his experience with mega dosing SLU PP332 powder. I got my powder on the way, and I will slowly start ramping up the dosages from the 2 milligrams that I'm on now. 2 milligrams that I'm on now to 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, 200, and then 400, and then see where I die or top out. Or I get mad lethargic. I don't know. Let's see. Dubai pays well. Yeah, Dubai pays well for registered nurses and people in the medical field. So For the guys that remember Man Medicine, he actually moved to Abu Dhabi. I think they made him an offer he couldn't refuse because he was, where was he? I think he was somewhere in the US where they legalized all the drugs and he was doing the ER and stuff. I did a podcast with him like 2 years ago. It was a great podcast. Man Medicine. Not a super big YouTube channel, but a super great guy anyway. So I think they made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and then he moved to Abu Dhabi, and he's having a great time there, helping the patients there. Like, you go where the money is, man, and where they treat you better than they do back home. So it's part of the game. Trender Muscle 5, using 5-amino-1-MQ, 150 milligrams split over 3 dosages, 50 milligrams 3 times per day. Post NAD IV injection in conjunction with naringenin, currently 6 to 7% body fat. I'm not sure if naringenin would inhibit the breakdown of NAD plus or even 5-amino-1-MQ. I'm not sure if they go through the cytochrome P453A4 enzymes. And NAD plus IV, the naringenin would have no effect on that, but maybe the 5-amino-1-MQ. But 5-amino-1-MQ has the best oral bioavailability of the N-methyltransferase inhibitors. That's why 5-amino-1-MQ was brought to the market, and these 7 or 8 other ones, and NMT inhibitors that prevent the breakdown of NAD plus in adipose tissue, were basically discarded. So you're currently 67% body fat, 7 weeks till show day, split it dose or bolus. What about the NAD plus? I would just do NAD plus SubQ. I completely stopped with nicotinamide mononucleotide. The NMN, right? I completely, NR never really did much for me. Nicotinamide riboside. NMN was always my go-to, 1,000 milligrams per day. And then I would do NAD plus IV, 200 milligrams once per week. But, dude, modern aminos and Somachems and a couple of the other sources, they sell injectable NAD plus. So just get it from them and take 20 milligrams SubQ every day. That's what I do. And then I might take some NAD plus pre-workout as part of an injectable pre-workout formula, like the Motivator, for example, from Modern Aminos, has 10 or 20 milligrams NAD plus alongside a boatload of other goodies, and then you get an insane pump. So fuck 1 cc to the chest, 1 cc to the chest on the other side. That's already 40 milligrams NAD plus. That morning, I'm probably not going to take NAD plus SubQ also, because then it's 60 milligrams NAD plus, and that's probably too much. And all these enzymatic reactions will be in overdrive, and I'll probably combust from the inside. You missed the first part of that question. Yeah, it doesn't show up, bro. What is the first part? Type it again. Post-training that particular area. What do you mean? Clarify. All right, where are we? What do I have to do to get on a podcast with you? Derber, you need the social media account, obviously. Need that valuable information for my community. Well, if you have a community, then we can talk. But you need to be on social media. I have a rule of 25,000 subs, or you need to be an industry knower. Like, I did podcasts with people, and then they go do podcasts with like Tony Huge afterwards, or Alex Keukel, or all these guys, and I'm like, doesn't really incentivize me to work with these guys again, you know? Like, you want to keep it somewhat exclusive in a select group, and then they have the B team on, and then you're like, oh, here we go again. So, Derber, don't do that to me. But yeah, build a community so we have an audience, and then we can talk. Oregon, yeah, Oregon. That's where that's where Dr. Wingy was. And he moved to Abu Dhabi. Great guy, very smart. Mathat, jumping on Tren Ace on the 1st September. Okay, that's basically tomorrow for my time zone. Monday for everybody. 30 milligrams SubQ daily, 10 milligrams per week. Okay, doing the Vigorous Steve low dose approach. Have you mentioned how much SubQ prolongs absorption of Tren Ace? No, it's maybe a day extra or something like that. Like if it's an MCT oil or you know, a rapidly absorbing carrier oil, then obviously it disperses fast. It increases the surface area of the injection, and 10 milligrams, what is that? 0.1 milliliters. So that it disperses quite rapidly. Then the lipases work on the MCT oil or the other carrier oils, whatever it's brewed in. And then some of it goes into systemic circulation, the trembolone acetate, and some of it is metabolized right away with esterases. So whether those are carboxyl esterases on systemic circulation or other esterases in the adipose tissue, it will break down over a period of a couple days. But if you inject 3 times per week, it should be enough, man. It should be enough. Should have stable levels. And on 30 milligrams SubQ per week, I mean, it's just enough to inhibit the glucocorticoid receptors and have a little bit of favorable fat loss. And the anabolic to androgenic dissociation is the highest at that dose, assuming you're about 100, 110 kilos. And then you should have 0 side effects. No train cough, no sleeping issues, no train rage, and no night sweats. I'm doing the mitochondrial fat loss stack, Methylene Blue, MOTS-c, SLU PP332, and Reta, and having amazing results. How long can I stay in this protocol? Do I have to cycle off any of these compounds? So long-term data on any of these compounds is not available. Now, retatrutide obviously has been investigated in human subjects for up to, don't quote me on that, but I think it was like 24 months or 18 months, pretty long time, where they escalated the doses upwards to like 12 milligrams by 1 injection per week, which I think is way too high. Right? If you want to do 0.5 milligram or even 1 milligram per day, that's a maximum of 7 milligrams of retatrutide. Some people need to go that high to really get the appetite under control. And then running that for 24 weeks or 18 weeks, whatever the scientific literature said, the clinical trials that are published and available as full publications without having to pay like an arm and a leg over a tant online, $140 per article. Fuck those guys. Insane, $140. You crazy. Shit, man. Like, you know what you can buy for 100? It's just a lap dance, man. It's a whole lap dance. So I'd rather go for the lap dance and then go to the Science Hub when it's published there. Not to get off topic, but with retatrutide, long-term studies on human subjects at higher doses are available. Methylene Blue, it's always short-term use, single injections or a couple of administrations. And low-dose long-term studies are not available. MOTS-c, no human data besides how MOTS-c is produced following vigorous strenuous exercise, and that it goes down with fasting. And SLU PP332, no long-term studies. I think the animal models go up to 8 weeks, 50 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Man, it's been a while since I made it. But I think 8 weeks, and if you convert that to the human equivalent dose, the maximum dose is like 800 milligrams per day, converting from intraperitoneal injections into the abdomen to oral administration, which is around the same space, but different administration routes, if you're a 100-kilogram bodybuilder. So I would basically be able to ramp it up to like 800, 880 milligrams per day. I'll probably spontaneously combust from the heat and the ATP production, and then shoot laser beams out of my hand. You know, maybe this is the one-way street to the force, where you can, or the dark side of the force, where you take so much SLU PP332 that you produce so much ATP that all these electrons you just need to discharge from your fingertips, and then your face turns kind of mangled, like all those guys on high-dose Masteron. Like this. End up looking like a fucking oxidized ashtray ball sack. And the shit is legit. I heard that they made a new flavor called Tiger's Blood. I still got plenty of these. So I'm expecting a case in the mail, Derek. So when do you have to cycle off? When you reach your goal. Basically. Because based on the scientific evidence, we don't know. And there's people running Methylene Blue for years. People running MOTS-c for years. SLU PP332 for years. I mean, Dr. Dean has been running it for like 2 years straight or something. And some people have been running retatrutide for maybe 2 or 3 years also. I just started again. I don't think I'm going to come off. The appetite suppression and the removal of the food noise, and so I might just fluctuate between dosages between 1/4 milligram 3 times per week to 1 milligram 3 times per week, and maybe even 1 milligram per day if I really need the appetite suppression and the removal of food noise. But I also do my blood work frequently. I'm pretty in touch with my body and my health, and that kind of determines whether I continue with something or not. So blood work tomorrow, blood work video on Monday or Tuesday, and then, or I record it on Monday or Tuesday, and then it takes a couple days to edit, obviously. And then let's see, you know, because I've been on this stack plus SS31, yeah, baby, and ubiquinol for a very long time. And I look pretty good. I feel pretty good. And I'm getting pretty lean. Let's see. Corey, Carol, strength training. Do you see any benefits of polyphasic sleep and bodybuilding? I have no idea what it is. In order to get more meals in and get a consistent stream of amino acids. Polyphasic sleep. I'm going to Google that real quick. Phasic sleep. What the fuck is that? You wake up like... Oh, multiple short rest periods over 24-hour periods. I mean, all the bodybuilders I knew would just eat a meal. They wake up after 4 hours, eat a meal, and then go back to bed, or have a shake and go back to bed. I mean, you wake up to pee anyway. While you're peeing, you can easily clear a shake. I used to do that in the past as well when I thought it was necessary. And I take an afternoon nap every day around 4 o'clock. You know, I do my emails, eat a meal, get my cardio out of the way, or cardio first and then the meal. And all my injections and stuff. And then after 4 hours of being awake, I'm like, you know what? Time to hit the hay, man. Another 30-minute power nap, and then the rest of the day I'm good. 4 o'clock is usually when it starts to get freakishly hot here. And then after that, temperature goes down. It doesn't matter how hard you blast the air conditioning. You still get that that CO2 air from outside at the heat of the day. And you're like, oh, I got to go take it. And you start snoring before you're even in the bed. Give it a try and let us know, man. Give it a try and let us know. Tips on recovering from back acne scars, self-scars after 4 to 5 months. Hygiene is on point. Maybe Glow or GHK copper, or, you know, something like with KPV and TB500, BPC 157, and GHK copper all together. But scars are scars, man. If you want to remove them, then you might need some like laser therapy to kind of, you know, remove the bumps and the lumps. And for that, you need to talk with a cosmetic surgeon. I know plenty of guys that got scars, and they, you know, they tried some kind of practice, but they ended up doing a surgery, and then the scar looks significantly less, you know. And then you do a healing protocol, which is linked down below. With TB500, BBC 157, GHK copper, plenty of collagen peptides, and a little bit of testosterone, anavar, and growth hormone to keep you going. But I would look into cosmetic surgery for that. Because if it's really bad and you have like fucking craters and stuff, it looks like the surface of the moon, yeah, you're going to need some medical intervention. I don't think there's any kind of peptide that will help with that, especially if it's been 4 to 5 months. That scar tissue has solidified. Yeah. It's okay. You don't get fucked from the back, right? Or maybe Z may. Maybe you're the guy that you're super conscious about it because you receive from the back end, and then yeah, my partner, he can see, you know, while he's fucking me from behind, he sees all the craters. Makes me feel very self-conscious. It's okay to just flip around and have some eye contact. It's okay. Or are you Gen Z where you can't communicate with each other? Cosmetic surgery. Again, switching from test C to test prop. Help with mood swings. Currently doing 200 milligrams test hip divided 3 times a week. You can also do a 200 milligrams test hip daily subcutaneous microadministrations and see if that helps. The mood swings might have to do with hormonal fluctuations, or your estrogen is too high or too low, or maybe you need an SSRI, or maybe you just need a vacation. Right? I think that the cypionate is irrelevant. I think the first thing I would look into is your injection frequency. So go from 200 tests 3 times per week. That's what, 66 milligrams. All right, times 3 is, yeah, about 198. So you go from 66 to divided by 7. Oh, not times. Oh my God. 28.6 milligrams SubQ daily. Give that like 2 or 3 weeks and see if that helps. And otherwise, watch the Entrepreneur Nootropic deep dive video series where I talk about neuromodulation through the supplementation of serotonin and precursors for dopamine and GABA and that kind of shit. Maybe that will help with the mood swings. And the best thing I did for my mood swings was methylene blue and fluvoxamine. Although there might be some serotonergic overlap there. So start with methylene blue, man. It's a MAOE inhibitor, prevents the breakdown of serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, and that puts me in a very good, energetic mood. And methylene blue plus testosterone cypionate for TRT. This is a TRT plus protocol, bro. You'll feel super duper. Ben, Sid, cut from 30% to 15% on Retatrutide, Tesamorelin, SLU, PP332. Now I'm stuck at 14%. Any peptides to push lower? Diet and training. Or is it just diet and training? I would just switch to diet and training first. So add a little bit more cardio, reduce carbohydrate intake a little bit more, maybe add a couple sets to add a little bit of working weight. And keep pushing, man. I mean, diet sucks. It takes time. It takes time. Or you maybe need some clenbuterol, but you shouldn't really be stuck at 14% and needing fat burners. Fat burners, I haven't used them. I'm 10% body fat right now. I'll use them when I'm 8%, when everything is homogeneously fat. So my lower back is in, my glutes are somewhat in. So the fat on my glutes is maybe this thick, lower back is maybe this thick, and everywhere else is this thick, right? That's pretty uniform, homogenized adipose tissue. So no love handles, no adductor fucking chunk, no saggy butt, no three skin folds on the butt. If have any detail in the butt, it's like shredded lower glutes, right? And then the rest is kind of in the upper glute area. It must be from the SubQ injections that I do on my upper glutes. The fat is a little bit thick there. Well, it's okay. Only my wife sees it. So I would adjust your diet and training, man. And then later on, you can throw in maybe some growth hormone for the tesamorelin, or look into AOD 9604 or HGH frag instead of the tesamorelin, because the more you diet and the lower your body fat levels go, the more resilient your pituitary is going to be for growth hormone secretion. And that means eventually the tesamorelin is not going to do anything anymore. You need real growth hormone, or a growth hormone like peptide that helps with fat loss in the form of AOD or HGH frag. And then there's Vibegron, there's clenbuterol, man, there's so many fat burners, but fix the diet first. Milk the diet and the training first, and the cardio, obviously. And then use the drugs last. Because my diet is on point, my training is on point, and my cardio is on point. And then when I feel I need the fat burners, I throw them in to get the last little bit of fat off. That is stubborn. But so far, so good, man. I'm getting great results. Bart Ronsk, is it okay to drop testosterone for 2 months, cruise before a winter bulk, keep using HCG 500 IOs 3 times per week to maintain estrogen levels? From testosterone intake 300 milligrams to 0, Primo 300 milligrams to 125. I would rather just stay on Primo, man, or on testosterone. Just stay on testosterone. Drop the Primo, drop the Deca, keep growth hormone in, maybe 2 IUs, drop the AI. I would save your Primo and Deca for the bulk, man. Why would you use HCG and then Primo and Nandrolone? Just so you inject less test? Test is the cheapest. What are you doing? What is the reasoning here? And you want to look better? Fuck, man, who cares? You're going to be fat during the winter bulk anyway and covered up because it's winter. You have like 4 layers of clothes. So, no. Do 500 IOs HCG 3 times per week, 150 tests. So you do 50 milligrams test Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 500 IOs HCG Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Use a little bit of an AI to control your estrogen levels, or calcium deglucarate or diamethane to help with the excretion of estradiol. And then maybe 2 IUs growth hormone, and then ramp up to 300 tests, 300 Primo, and 250 Deca when you're ready to blast again. And then you can use 6 IUs of growth hormone. But why waste Primo and MPP on a cruise when you're not making any gains? At best, you're sustaining it. Just use test. The fuck? Test is not sexy anymore. Matt had... Do ladyboys lap dance cost more or less than lady ones? Asking for myself. There's no lap dances here in Thailand. If you go to a go-go bar, whether they have ladyboys or not, some go-go bars cater to ladyboys exclusively. Some go-go bars have only girls, and then some go-go bars have ladyboy surprise. There's like 1 or 2 ladyboys that look okay, or sometimes it's very obvious. And then you can decide. You're like, hello, mister. Can I sit with you? And then you, most of the time, you know that it's a lady boy. And then if you want to get a lap dance, it's fine, man. They'll do it for free. Just tip them. You know, it's not like you have to pay $50 or $100 or $240 or whatever the prices are in the United States. They'll sit on your lap and gladly fucking grind you until your fucking underwear is covered in pre-cum. And then you tip them. Or you don't. You pay the bar fine, you take them home, and then if it's a lady boy, you fuck them in the fake vagina or in the ass, depending if they're post-op or not. And if it's a girl, then, you know. So it's very laid back, man, in the go-go bars, from what I've heard. I've never been. But from what I've heard, it's very laid back, and lap dances are just given for fun, especially if you're cute or you look like money. So either or. If you're cute and you look like money, oh man, you can take the mop and you mop all the whores out to your bedroom. Take like 4 or 5, and then you mop them right out of your bedroom. Say, goodbye, ladies. Thank you very much. Sorry I couldn't please you. I'm a little tired. My opinion on efficacy of cartilage for improving arthritic shoulders. I don't believe in these bioregulators, so don't ask me. Don't ask me. When I hear reports of somebody saying that bioregulators work, and we're talking about an actual bodybuilder who's got some experience, not somebody with, I don't know, who hasn't tried the other stuff yet, like TB500 and growth hormone and all that kind of stuff. So no, the bioregulators, I tried to look for scientific evidence on them. It's so paper thin that it just makes you want to vomit. And I haven't really heard anybody talk highly of them, like, oh, this really changed my life, So I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. If you have arthritic shoulders, then look into lowering inflammation and maybe do an MRI to see how bad it is. Maybe you need surgery. Like if BBC and TB500 doesn't really do much, then the inflammation is more than these peptides can resolve. So give it a try and then report back to us if it really worked well for you. Then let us know, and then we have one anecdotal report to take into consideration. Do you know if anybody who has used stem cells from BioXcellerator? They have the most MMA and sport athletes using their services. Yeah, keep in mind that all of these stem cell clinics in the South America, they all have influencer discounts, so you can basically go there and get it for free, and they use your picture, right? But BioXcellerator's got a pretty good rep. I think that Dennis James went there twice, and he swore by it. I mean, I saw Dennis James a couple weeks ago in Thailand. And he had stem cells in his shoulders and knees and systemically, and he said that all his issues were resolved. And he said, "Fuck, man, if you can go there, even if you have no problems, just go there. it's basically free, Steve, if you can document it." So yeah, I mean, if you can document it or you have the money to do it, then I think it's worth it. There's so many, like Dr. Idil Khan offers all these stem cells, and I think if you're really fucked, then yeah, then the stem cells are going to help. I should do it too for my shoulder, my elbow, my knees. Getting old, man. Is it Ashtray Face initials TL? Well, he's not the only one. Most of the high dose Masteron guys have an Ashtray Face, man. Yeah, and they'd start to act weird. I think high dose Masteron is not good for your brain function. It makes you say outrageous shit. Oh well. Everybody has their role to fill. TRT along with being over 40 years old, no sleep, working at the fire department, training in jiu-jitsu has been a combination for tearing your body part apart. Yeah, that doesn't help, man. So yeah, if they pay you well at the fire department, then maybe look at the BioXcellerator. Or try to look something locally where you can help stem cells. But in the United States, if you're in the US, then, yeah, it's going to be problematic because there's a lot of restrictions. That's why it's so popular to go to South America. I would like to extend my ability to compete with these young kids at jiu-jitsu school and pursue competitive bodybuilding. Yeah, so maybe you... I mean, I gave up on those aspirations a long time ago because I'm too battered, too broken. But I still like to train, so... Yeah, I don't know. Do around the stem cells, set some money aside. It will probably cost you $15,000 to $25,000, unless you get the influencer discount, the Instagram special, basically. And then, see if it's worth it. Honestly, I would rather buy another motorbike, which will also tear me apart, I'm sure. Andreas, running your fertility protocol but taking AI for Gyno, how would this affect sperm quality? Also, is running these things worth while my spouse is non-ovulating? I didn't really do research on AI for fertility, but I do know that estradiol contributes to follicle-stimulating hormone receptor sensitivity, and that's the receptors that you want to have sensitive when you're taking fertility protocol consisting of HMG or recombinant FSH. So if your AI intake is just enough to keep the estrogen at the top of the reference range, let's say 40 to 50 picograms per milliliter, to prevent gyno, I think that's fine. If you question your estradiol, then it doesn't matter how much FSH you take. The receptor sensitivity and the function will not be optimal. I couldn't find any scientific evidence, I think, if I remember correctly, that AIs are bad for fertility in men. But you'll have to consult a deep dive. I mean, I do so many deep dives, I forget more than, I forget half the shit that I put in there, because this is not something that I discuss often. I did HCG without an AI, and my sperm quality, as you could see from the deep dive, was bellissimo. Also running these things worth while my spouse is not ovulating. Yeah, so you have to run that because semen production takes months. So ovulation obviously is once per month. You have the period cycle, and you just have to keep taking it, man, because the HCG will produce sperm, and then 3 months later, that sperm is available. So the HCG and the FSH, you run continuously until your wife is pregnant or you have enough semen samples frozen for intrauterine insemination and IVF, and whether that's IMC or ICSI, whatever special IVF protocol you're going to need to do. Yeah, man, you have to keep using it. It's very expensive to get your wife pregnant, and then it's very expensive to maintain your wife while she's pregnant. And then after your wife gives birth, dude, insurance and diapers and formula and fucking toys. The fertility protocol is the cheapest. Yeah. Will you be at the Mr. Olympia in Las Vegas in October? No, I'm going to skip it this year. I was up in the air if I was going. And then now my daughter is, 2 months old, and every day she grows a little bit. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. Like, I pick her up at the crib, and she's a little bit bigger, or she smiles a little bit more. She actually laughs, and she starts to recognize you more and more. You get more of that feedback at 2 months old. So October, she would be, that's basically a month from now, like 3.5 months old, 3.5 months old. I don't want to miss a fucking week of my daughter growing up, because I only get one chance like this. The next child we'll have is going to be a boy, and hopefully that implantation goes well. I'd have the embryo ready, frozen in carbonite, Demolition Man style. It's already frozen, butt naked. One singular cell. Oh, it's 8 cells now. It's already a blastocyst. Yeah, so I don't want to miss it, guys. So Olympia, no. No, I know Chase Irons really wanted me to go. He even offered to pay for my ticket, but I'm just 100% set on watching my daughter grow, and I don't want to miss a week. And the last thing that I really need is to get sick at the Mr. Olympia, which happens every year. You get some sort of expo flu or some sort of infection on your hands. Like last year, dude, my fingers were fucking green, dude, from shaking hands. It was disgusting. And then, of course, in the United States, you can't even get, as something as simple as amoxicillin, because the medical system there is all fucked. And then you walk into CVS today and need some antibiotics. Yeah, you need a prescription. Fuck off. And obviously, you can't bring that with you, because then you get deported. Oh, there's another foreigner bringing in drugs. 99 year stamp. Fuck off. Meanwhile, I'll bring $1,000 per day to the United States, and you fuckers need my money, because I take more out of the United States every month than I bring back. So, anyway, that's beside the point. Steve, how much money are you taking out of the U.S.? So it's more than $100K per month. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, no, I won't be there. I'll try to make it for the Arnold Classic, because I haven't been there yet. I've been to Olympia 3 times now. I've never been to the Arnold Classic. I heard that it's a lot more fun from a bodybuilding perspective, like a better audience, less shitfluencers, and more actual hardcore athletes and bodybuilders, which is what I like to be, surrounded with. So I try to make it for that. That's in March. I haven't booked a flight. I haven't bought any tickets. And if I decide, it will be probably sometime around the end of the year. Yeah, I just want to see how my daughter grows up, man. I've been waiting for my daughter to be born for, not 9 months, obviously, but I've been planning for this moment for over a decade, and I don't want to miss a fucking second of it. And the Olympia will be there, but my daughter being 3.5 months old to 4 months old will only happen once. So, too bad. Too bad for the people at the Arnold, but I'll check in to the live stream. Vigorous, Daddy, I like to fight no homo to your Sarms, Goblin, and Broccoli heads oral only cycle faggots out there. Jesus Christ. How many weeks do you recommend to run GHK Copper Protocol 5 milligrams bilaterally 3 days in a row? Until you're happy with your weaker body part. I did it for months, man. Yeah, I did it for months, and now, well, you know, now I have this peak here at the bottom, right? I didn't have that before. So, look at this fucking farmer's tent. Tell me you ride a lot of motorbike without telling me you ride a lot of motorbike. That's fucking terrible. So I didn't have this peak, right? Here, this. I'm getting pretty lean. Not dick skin yet, but you see this? So this I didn't have. So I just kept fucking slamming the GHK copper in there. So this was bigger in the past, but then I was more juice. I'm on what, 750 milligrams of steroids a week? You know, it's not that much. Not 2.5 grams, 3 grams, what I used to run in the past, but I don't want to do a cycle like that. So make sure you do your grassland technique and your deep tissue massage therapy and foam rolling, because the adhesions of the GHK copper is fucking brutal. And yeah, man, get that night rod, dude. Sean Sullivan sent me a picture. Say, I can get this, and then we can write it off as a stunt expense, so I can, you know, use it as a tax deductible. I'm like, dude, fucking get it. Fucking get this night rod. And then I started looking at night rods and V rods, and I found all these custom websites where they make like epic V rods. So I contacted Harley Davidson here in Thailand. Say, I want to buy a V rod. Say, yeah, we don't have it. We don't have it. I said, well, I can import one. So you have to pay like 100% import tax. I'm like, fuck, dude. So you get like a custom V rod in the United States for maybe, I don't know, $20,000, and then another $20,000 on top. Fuck, dude. And then at least you have a one of one in Thailand. Just like my Honda NM4 with a custom Gatling gun exhaust. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Tail gunner exhaust, baby. Two Gatling guns, and then as soon as you rev the gas, the Gatling guns start to spin. It will come in about 6 weeks. And I'm going to put it on my exhaust and with my sound bar, I play some AC/DC and blast the Gatling gun on my way through traffic. Epic. All right, some serious super chats. Game Theory. Hey, Steve, bring the latest and greatest beta-2 agonist to your attention. Vibegron. Yeah, I looked into that, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Doesn't affect heart rate, stacks very well with anti-obesity drugs 9604, and which upregulates beta-3 receptors. Killer combination. Does AOD upregulate beta-3 receptors? Really? Okay, you spiked my interest. Now, Vibegron I actually looked for, because in the Vibegron deep dive I actually mentioned it, that this is one of the available alternative beta-3 adrenergic receptor agonists, but I can't find it. I can't find it on any of the source boards or the sources, and I can't find it here in Thailand. Vibegron is available, but if you have good experience with it and you have it available, start a source, obviously. Start a peptide, gray air peptide website, Game Theory, Optimal, 8177.to. Avoid those DMCA takedowns. And then start selling it, bro. Make some money. I didn't know that AOD 9604 upregulates beta-3 adrenergic receptors. That's I did not know. Kind of writing it off, but I have access to it, so might as well give it another try. All right, where are we? Antio Choldo. Have you tried the DMAA from MI website? Yeah, it's on the way. I haven't tried it yet. Was wondering how you'd use it. Not really not really getting any effect from it. Maybe you need to increase the dose. I think 25 milligrams, 50 milligrams of DMAA is good. But if you have an issue with them, just contact them and say, hey, listen, it's not working as expected. You know, is there an issue? Was there a problem with manufacturing? Mine is on the way, but I haven't tried it yet, because ordering anything from the US and then using my shipping forwarder who hoops and valleys. What is this? Ah, this is coffee. Okay, cleared. What is this? Steroids. Coffee. Yeah, cleared. Coffee is what you put on cocaine so the dogs can't smell the cocaine, or allegedly, from what I heard. It's a lot of coffee from Colombia. Doug's like, yeah, that's coffee, bro. Yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, it's like one layer of coffee and fucking 6 rows, fucking bricks. And again, you learn that on National Geographic documentaries. So contact them and say that it's not really working as expected, or increase the dose, but don't triple it right off the start. Fucking legend. And I still don't know. I still don't get that joke. So this from Demolition Man, right? Where Sylvester Stallone is de-thawed or thawed basically, and then he goes to the police station. He goes to the bathroom there. First, he has to pay all these tickets for swearing, and, and then, what are these 3 shells for? He doesn't know how to use the 3 shells. It's such a good, and they don't explain it in the movie. Like, what, do you put 2 together and then fucking kind of pooper scoop your fucking shit out? Or they're buttons, where it shoots water up your butthole, just like a Japanese toilet. And the third shell is the toilet seat heater or something like that. Great fucking joke, man. It's Paul Verhoeven, right, that made that movie. Is that Paul Verhoeven? It's a Dutch filmmaker. Demolition. No, Paul Verhoeven did not make Demolition Man. It does feel like a Paul Verhoeven. Marco Brambilla. Great satire in there. Oh, well. Okay. Next. Francisco. I'm planning my second blast consisting of 300 tests, 150 Mast, 150 Primo, and 5 milligrams Anavar. Any advice? Yeah, don't call it a blast. Call it TRT+. Good luck. Should be fine. You'll eventually increase the dose to maybe 500 tests, 500 Masteron, 300 Primo or 500 Primo, and 25 milligrams of Anavar, but do that sequentially. But don't call that a blast, man. That's TRT+. Blasting is from 1 gram onwards. How often do you donate blood? I haven't donated blood in a decade because I didn't need to. I think the last time I did it is when I was megadosing EQ. So I do my blood work every month. My hematocrit is usually no higher than 54%. I always go in hydrated, drink 1.5 liters of water. So my creatinine, my blood sugar, nitrogen, my other kidney markers, and my hematocrit are accurate representations of where these values are when I'm hydrated the rest of the day. So I haven't donated in years, man. I don't need to. Maybe the Tomasartan is bring the RBC within range. My iron levels are normal. I use a CPAP machine, so I don't have any sleep apnea. I don't really have sleep apnea, but I'm snoring brutally, according to Aaron Burke. So as soon as I came back from the Mr. Olympia last year, I bought a CPAP machine, and I've been sleeping like a baby ever since. Now, whether you have to do blood donations depends on if you can't control your hematocrit and red blood cell count with Tomasartan, enalapril, methylene blue, a CPAP machine, IP6 to bring your iron levels down, right? There's a multitude of different methods, and donating blood is the last fucking option. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Welcome back to the Vigorous crew. You were already a member, right? Alexandra Carrera. Anyway, welcome. Is there a dopamine stack you could recommend? Going through divorce. Go to Thailand. Yeah, you can do all the divorce and lawyer bullshit remotely. Right? Those lawyers charge you an arm and a leg. And just come to Thailand and enjoy yourself, man. Fuck that bitch. Not the old one, but new ones. Just override the bad memories with new ones. That's all the dopamine you need, man. That's all the dopamine you need. A little bit of TRT. Buy a Harley Davidson when you get back. Right? Buy the motorcycle. Enjoy yourself. And then start fucking bitches half your ex-wife age. Assuming that she was over 36. 18 and upwards, bro. But you don't need any drugs to increase your dopamine levels. If anything, you need a little bit of TRT to get you through this period. And just come to Thailand, man. Or Philippines or South America and enjoy yourself. You know? Just fucking enjoy yourself. Fuck the bullshit. and get away from the nonsense. You can always file out the divorce papers later on. Go enjoy yourself. Let's see. Organ scans done. Sperm frozen 1 year of natural labs prior to starting. Running 150 milligrams test for 1 month in labs. Planning on 250 milligrams next. Adding in 100 milligrams only if stalled. Anything important to keep in mind? Yeah, you don't stall within a month. Especially if you're not coming from a natural state. So you could run 150 milligrams test for 3 months and not stall. And then do 250 for 3 to 6 months. And then do 375 for another couple of months. And then go back to cruising to kind of clean out, because you'll probably experiment with other stuff along the way, right? It's Pandora's box once you get on TRT. And then you would want to experiment with all the other stuff that I talk about here, which ultimately will detract from your health to a certain extent. That's why blood work is frequent and important. Anything important to keep in mind? No, well, welcome to the club, man. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fucking gains. Enjoy picking up the weight and like, oh, that's too light. I'm going to go 10 kilos heavier, and you're like, oh, that's still too light after doing 12 reps. Fuck. Should have gone with 50 pounds or 50 kilo dumbbells, you know, for example. So, no, just keep doing your blood work frequently. Make sure you do a little bit of cardio. Keep track of your blood pressure. Eat as clean as you can, because water retention and acne is less forgiving or will be a problem if your diet isn't clean. And enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride. Don't look back. Benjamin Heights, our resident race expert. 250 milligrams test, 250 milligrams Primo per week, 20 milligrams Anavar per day, 75 IUs HCG, 4 IUs growth hormone. What do you think to peak in 6 weeks for a trip to the beach? Retidutide and the mitochondrial support stack, and maybe a little bit of clean. If you have 6 weeks, you get that fat loss going. Keep the test in, keep the Primo in, keep the Anavar in, take the HCG out. When you're on the beach, remove a little bit of water retention, or remove the growth hormone. Let's say the HCG and the growth hormone you take out in 4 weeks, 2 weeks before you hit the beach. Keep the rest in. And then the mitochondrial support stack to drop the fat and keep you going. You know what to do, bro. You know what to do. And start loading up some Lanotan too while you're at it. Get that fucking skin texture going. Tanned enough that you can hit all demographics. Right? Or all what is it? Races? Yeah. So you're tanned enough to hit up the Colombian hotties and the Nubian princesses, but also the European hotties. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe the Russian hotties. Yeah, the Russian hotties. Yeah. You know, it depends on where you go to the beach. If you go somewhere where all demographics and all places of the world are represented, like in Thailand, then yeah, a little bit of a tan goes a long way. Yeah, unless you really want to hit up the Asian chicks, then it's better not to be tanned. They don't like tanned foreigners, from what I understand. They're a bit racist that way. They want that white skin baby. A new credit card. Oh, man, I love it when I have a new credit card. Max it out right away. McChambers, or McHambers. McChambers, I like more. 100 milligrams 100 milligrams per week of TRT with an anastrozole for 5 years because of finasteride. Testosterone drop. Been great, but libido's gone this past year. 175 pounds, 45 years old, and 14% body fat. Well, watch the libido videos, man, because is it the finasteride dropping your DHT levels, or is your estrogen too low? Are you not eating enough healthy fats? Are you stressed? You're not sleeping at low libido, acne, hair loss. It's multifactorial. So you have to pinpoint what the root cause is. And based on this, I can already find like 7 root causes. So maybe you need to eat more. Maybe you need to go to a country where you're more appreciated. You know, I don't know. So libido can go up and down for a multitude of different reasons, but watch the libido deep dives. I have several videos on that, so you can kind of go through the process and see what helps, and then design a stack to kind of offset that. But usually doing a nice trip, eating a lot of hamburgers, and maybe bumping up the test to 150 milligrams, 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then HCG in between. 500 IUs to 1,000 IUs HCG 3 times per week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. With an aromatase inhibitor, we're using an anastrozole already, so you might need to bump that up a little bit because the test is going up and you're adding in the HCG. That will probably fix it. But again, multiple causes. Have you ever tried Cytodren and Pregabalon or Pregnenolone. The abbreviation could stand for many things. I've never tried Satidrine because it's not available. If so, did you notice any more glucocorticoid receptor inhibition that you would from a low-dose Tranivir? No, I never used it. So you have to ask some of the IFB pros that were competing in the 1990s. Because I don't think it's available. And Pregabalin, is that the one that blocks the glucocorticoid receptors? I think Trembolone and Anavar is more than enough, man. And otherwise, bring your cortisol levels down with Imodin and something like Gorillamine Calm with phosphatidylserine, and growth hormone will bring your cortisol levels down. So I don't think you need something like Cytidrine to really block it. If you just manage your cortisol levels with some supplements and lifestyle changes. First cycle, 250 milligrams test, 150 Primo, 40 milligrams Anavar for 4 weeks. HDL dropped to 18, SHBG 8, estradiol 87. That's pretty high. Prolactin out of range. Why does this happen despite the conservative cycle? Well, 40 milligrams Anavar and Primo will drop your HDL. That's to be expected. And SHBG didn't drop that much because your estradiol is pretty high, assuming that's picogram per milliliter. Prolactin out of range. That's weird. You know, are you 100% sure that your Primo is Primo and that your Anavar is Anavar, or you're injecting test plus Dianabol? You know, you never know, right? How sure are you that your compounds are legit? So if your prolactin is high, you could bring that down with what is it? Not L-dopamine. L-tyrosine and vitamin B6, P5P to help with the conversion of L-tyrosine into dopamine downstream with a couple steps in between. Again, test your stuff. Maybe increase the Primo to 250 milligrams to bring your estradiol down, which also lowers your prolactin. But then your SHBG will come down also. So it's part of the game, man, to have an HDL low and SHBG low. On DHT derivatives, on Primo and Anavar, your HDL is going to be low. If you do a ketogenic diet, it might be a little bit higher. If you use something like citrus bergamot, it might be 1 or 2 points higher. If you do a little bit of cardio, it will be a little bit higher. But it will always be low. That's the route you decided to be on. If you have an HDL 40 or 50, you either do everything right or you're not using DHT derivatives, you know? What's your current vitamin stack? I'll discuss that and it's on my website, the year-round supplement stack. That's pretty much the same. So we're not going to go through 20 different supplements right now, but it will be on the video that I record next week. Yeah, it's all the health supplements and then some. Started growth hormone 2 weeks ago. Started 2 use. This week's 2.5. I used fasted blood glucose on Monday was 72. Now I'm 90s. Thinking about trying berberine, but why don't you try some fasted cardio? Why don't you try some fasted cardio and reduce your carbs before bed? You don't throw in another compound. I wanted to ask you if this is typical in the beginning. Diet, sleep, cardio, all on point. Yeah, you say that. But if your diet and sleep was on point, you wouldn't go from 72 to 90s. So, I'd say, dude, but something is not on point. But anyway, throw in the berberine. Give it a try. Berberine doesn't lower the free-form fatty acids that blunt insulin sensitivity caused by growth hormone. It only helps with insulin sensitivity, but insulin sensitivity is going to be offset from the free-form fatty acids that growth hormone releases. So you don't need berberine, you need carnitine or activity or less calories before you go to bed and you inject the growth hormone. Bro, maybe just ate something the night before that caused your blood glucose to spike. Or maybe you got a little cortisol dump in the morning causing your blood glucose to spike. So don't freak out, man. Don't freak out. Relax. Thoughts on Bioglutide as an oral quadruple receptor agonist. So I heard through the grapevine that it's hitting the market. I already know a guy that has it in stock. He's going to run it in about a week. He did not have enough to share, but I asked his source to send me some. And then I think in 1 or 2 months, Bioglutide will be available. Seems like it would be broken down in digestion, especially the IGF-1. And fuck yeah, you called Harley right after you saw those. Yeah, I had to, man. You sent me that fucking black night rod. I'm like, night rods and V rods, they look fucking epic, man. They haven't been produced since what, 2018? But then the custom shops, they have beautiful models, and they modify the tank, and they put the fucking the dials in there, so you instead of looking at the steering wheel, you have to look at the tank. So you don't look at all. Basically, you don't look at your rev counter. You just listen to the engine, and when you hear you switch gears. That's how it goes. So bioglutide seems to be orally bioavailable based on the scientific evidence. Again, there's only 4 studies or something. And it's one compound that agonizes the glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist, the gastric inhibitory polypeptide receptor, and the glucagon receptor, and the IGF-1 receptor. So it's one compound agonizing 4 receptors. And if it's orally bioavailable, just like MK677 activating the ghrelin receptor and thus releasing growth hormone downstream and IGF-1 downstream, if it's orally bioavailable, that sense, then it will work. It doesn't necessarily have to be a super lengthy peptide that gets broken down and cleaved in the intestinal tract. If it interacts with the receptor, it interacts. Look at SARMs. Look at the structure of SARMs. Look completely different than testosterone-based androgens or cortisol-based androgens. It's a completely different structure, but somehow they still interact with the receptor and do some sort of magic downstream. And that's why they're orally bioavailable, but that's also why SARMs are not esterified, because they can be due to the chemical structure. All UGL gear. Yeah, so check out the Control F source list, and otherwise source something that you believe is better quality, because you might not be injecting what you think you're injecting. Thank you, Daddy Steve. Oh, man. Ugh. On your podcast with Scott Stevenson, dude, it was like 3 years ago. You talked about using recombinant SHBG. Yes, so that I found a source for recombinant SHBG and speculated that might be helpful, but I was never able to source it myself, and it was very expensive when I found it. So did you ever get around to sourcing it and using it? No. Unfortunately not. You can buy it at several places. Those are all, research, like true research websites. And it costs thousands of dollars, so it's not worth it. Same as leptin, right? Like when people are like, oh, leptin is the regulator of appetite and fat loss, so let's inject some leptin and make the body think that the fat cells are always secreting leptin, and then we get unlimited fat loss, and then you start sourcing for leptin. You're like, oh, that's going to cost me like fucking $2,000 per day. All right, clenbuterol it is, bro. All right, you're asking this twice, and probably more times here in timeout. If you start spamming questions, you are in the naughty corner. Hey Steve, I took my first blood test last week. Everything looked normal, but lipids, cholesterol 194. That's normal, right? Triglycerides 94. HDL cholesterol 43, LDL cholesterol 131, so that's a bit high. I'm on 3 milligrams retatrutide on the ketogenic diet. Any advice? Add some cardio because those triglycerides are high, and then add in some citrus bergamot and amla extract. 500 milligrams citrus bergamot morning and evening, 600 milligrams amla extract morning and evening. And if that doesn't help, then 10 milligrams ezetimibe. But cardio, citrus bergamot, and amla extract will probably get your cholesterol down from 130 to 90. And if that's not the case, then 10 milligrams ezetimibe on top will make it drop to 70. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Bought some injectable MK677 with an advanced carrier oil, 50 milligrams for 1 milliliter. Hurts like hell. Any thoughts? Throw it away. These compounds are not meant to be injected. So if they specify it's an MCT oil, like YK11, for example, plenty of sources that I represent, they brew that in MCT oil, and that is pain-free. Dissolves perfectly fine. But if they put in advanced carrier oil and it probably smells like solvent, then yeah, you're injecting something that's going to dissolve you from the inside, giving you tremendous inflammation and causing you terrible post-injection pain. Don't do it. All right. Oh, we are through the questions already. Great. I can go to bed. I can go to bed. I used to take retroesterized fish oil, citrus bergamot, and ezetimibe, but once I stopped it, LDL went from 110 to a whopping 137. Yeah, it only works when you keep taking it, right? So I don't think you need Reta and citrus bergamot and ezetimibe altogether. But I think fish oil, citrus bergamot, amla extract, and ezetimibe will bring your LDL down. And, some guys like Italians, for example, not sure if you're Italian, but they're just lipidly fucked. Their lipids are just horrible. My wife's lipids are also horrible. It's hereditary. So she needs to take ezetimibe to bring those lipids down. So yeah, these compounds only work when you keep taking it, same as TRT. You take the TRT out, yeah, of course you're going to be androgen deficient again. What do you expect? Blue collar bodybuilding, doing check-ins. Hope all is well. Yeah, man, all good. All good on this end. Hope you're doing well too. Check-ins on the weekend. You probably got like 200 or something. Good luck. Good luck. Get some affiliates so you don't have to do a million clients. Affiliates pay even while you're sleeping and not doing check-ins. All right, there's not so many questions today. Good. Guys, then if there's nothing more, then I'm just going to go to bed and wake up early. And otherwise, start asking. You, my boy, Blue. What is that from? That I don't know. Not Italian. Okay. Well, maybe you just have genetically higher lipids, and you always need to be on a stack of these kinds of compounds and daily fasted cardio. Bring it down. Joel Hansen Raw. Good to see you, Steve. Glad to hear the family as well. Yeah, all is going well, man. Hope you can make it back to Thailand after you go to your Olympia. You'll be at Chase Iron's booth, right? As a VIP man that should not be taking Reta because otherwise you can't do the food challenges anymore. Imagine if you take like 1 milligram Reta and then you do a food challenge, Joel. Oh my God, dude. It'd be terrible. Ugh. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm going to go out to Wolfgang Steakhouse tomorrow. Get some fat steaks. Yummy. I have some Turinabol laying around. What is a good use for Turinabol? Just want to experiment. When you run out of Anavar. When your source dries up of Anavar and you have some Turinabol laying around, then I have Turinabol in the house, but I also still have like Bonavar Anavar that I bought when it was going out of stock. And the expiration date, I think it's expired for 2 years already, but I still got like fuckload of boxes. So first I got to finish the Anavar, and then maybe I'll finish the Anadrol as well, which I also have a fuckload of boxes that have been expired for 7 years, or maybe even 10 years. It's been a long time. And then I'll use the Turinabol last. So Turinabol is like an emergency oral when all other orals run out, and you can't get any oral anymore. There's no blowjob bar anywhere to be found. Then you can run a Turinabol. Yeah. Fuck, I really wanted to go to Dr. BJ, but it's closed. Okay. Second best oral is Turinabol. For the guys who don't know, Dr. BJ used to be a blowjob bar here in Bangkok with 100 girls, allegedly. Never been there, but I heard it was a fun place to get your knob polished. Yeah, your mushroom polished. Any reason not to run HCG dose split daily, like why 3 times per week? Because it has about a 24-hour active life or half-life. You could do it daily, but why take it more often than necessary? Well, I can take Reta now. Yeah, if it's I would not do a high dose though. No issues. So you can do a food challenge and you're on Reta? Jesus Christ, man. You're a beast. But you would probably take like a 1/4 milligram or a 1/2 milligram a couple times a week, not 1 milligram per day like some of these guys are doing. Hope you can make it to the Arnold. Would be good to see you again. Yeah, Tina. I think I was there for the Swiss symposium, right? That was also in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. But that was like summertime. So every time I want to go to the Arnold, I'm like, I want to go to the Arnold. And then I check the weather. I'm like, fuck it, I want to go. I live in Thailand. I have no jacket. I have like 3 pants. Custom jeans that I made like 6 years ago or something. So that's all the jeans I have. And then I only have like small ankle socks, the ones that don't even, they're not ankle socks, but they're just around your heels and your toes, basically. So I'm not well dressed. So I need to do some serious shopping. So if I go to Arnold's, I'll probably go hit Vegas first, and then hit the North and South outlet mall and stock up on winter clothes, and then stay there for the Arnold for a week. And then I'm probably not gonna be in too good much of a shape because I'll be freezing, dude. Maybe get some DNP. Be there in Steve, how come you're in a shirt? DMP, bro. Yes, I'll be in Thailand this winter. Looking forward to seeing you in the fam. Okay, awesome. Awesome, bro. Looking forward to see you again also. It's been a very long time. It's been a long time. From one father to another, you can start potty training your children around 6 months by placing them on a potty as soon as they start showing sign of pushing. Once they reach 1 year, you're done. Okay, cool. I didn't get around to that part yet. So right now, my daughter is drinking milk from the bottle, and then the whole body tenses, and she makes all kinds of noises, and then the poop comes. Thank God she wears diapers. So the routine is bottle feeding, burping, resting a little bit, playing, and then when she starts getting a little bit fussy, it's diaper changing time. And I can proudly say that after 2 months of being a new father, 0 diaper rash. Right. 0 diaper rash, man. Guess how many diapers we go through. Yeah, potty training. Eventually I have to do that also. Let's see if there's anything interesting. Ever heard of anybody running testosterone Primo EQ stack? Do people do that all the time? People do that all the time. Did anybody here ever run test, Deca, Ment, and Trembolone 319 Nors? Like I'm on 219 Nors now, right? And I've started to notice after 7 weeks, I'm starting to get a little bit flat and losing a little bit of strength. So I can either go to 500 tests, from 300 tests to 500 tests, 300 Deca to 500 Deca, and then maybe 300 milligrams Ment, or I could throw in the Tren, like 50 milligrams a week. But I need to do some blood work first, see where my prolactin is at. Right? Gyno is not an issue. Mood is not an issue. Right now, my mood is absolutely fantastic considering how hard I'm dieting. So yeah, this stack test Primo EQ. If you do like 500 tests, 250 Primo, 250 EQ, I think your estrogen is in range. But it might still be a little bit on the low side. So fluctuate and do your blood work after 4 weeks on this stack, maybe 6 weeks, to make sure that your estrogen is in range, because that Primo and EQ will both suppress that, and EQ seems to be a little bit more potent because not only does EQ lower estrogen, but 3 of its metabolites also do that, and with Primo it's only 2 metabolites, and those were in biotransformations. It's not entirely sure if those metabolites that have aromatase inhibiting effects are also produced in the human body. But with EQ, we know that those are produced in the human body. So yeah, that's Primo, EQ, and then potentially 6 metabolites that suppress your estradiol. And then EQ converting into estrone instead of estradiol, which could then convert into estradiol, but, that's downstream. Let's see. So did anybody ever run test Primo or test Deca, Trestolone, and Trembolone together? Guys, write your feedback in the chat. Daily microdose of EQ viable for TRT plus stack. Currently on 50 milligrams SubQ test every day. I can afford Primo, but I can't handle the post-injection pain. Dude, it shouldn't cause any post-injection pain, man. Find a different source. But yeah, if you're running 350 milligrams tests per week, you could add in, 350 milligrams EQ on top of that, doubling the dose, and then, or start with 25 milligrams per day, and then see how you respond. See how your estrogen fluctuates, see how you feel, if you need any GABA to kind of bring the anxiety down, or if hematocrit shoots up, you got to make sure that your hematocrit doesn't get too high. EQ seems to be quite erythropoietic compared to other steroids, but Primobolan is also quite erythropoietic. So, yeah, do your blood work before and then 4 weeks, 6 weeks into it, and then see what happened to your hematocrit and your estradiol levels, and then considering bumping up the dose if needed. Gorgonzola became a YouTube member. How are you doing? All good, man. It's time for another Q&A. How high do you think I could go with the Anavar milligrams for 6 weeks? I prefer not to go higher than 25 milligrams per day, but I don't know. More is not always better, man. I think 25 milligrams Anavar per day is more than enough. You could go to 50 milligrams, but you might lock up. You might get angina. You might get, super sore and locked up to the point you're like, kind of looking like this after a workout. So I like to stay mobile, not use too much steroids, and even though my rear delts are kind of busted. 50-pound bent over rear delt raises. Fun. I'm getting really strong on this new training protocol. But yeah, the 50 milligrams, I would say the max. How do you compare and contrast your Selank doses to your Semax doses? I would always do them same micrograms, so 500 to 750 micrograms. Semax in the morning, Selanks in the evening. That's what I preferred. But some people prefer the other way around. And then it depends if you have an acetyl Selank or Semax, which the dosages are a little bit lower because the bioavailability or the potency is a little bit higher. Fuck man, it's been such a long time since I researched Semax and Selank. I honestly can't remember. So you'll have 4 different kinds of Selank and Semax each. So I would just take the regular one, and I got good response. I still have some nasal sprays in the fridge and haven't touched it in forever. Then again, I haven't really worked in a long time. I've just been managing my assets. Cryptocurrency management is not that difficult. We already hit the 20-week moving average. I thought it was going to happen in September, but it already happened. So let's see what happens. If it's going to be a rectamber or let's see how the month closes. Anyway, that's a story for a different video. So I would do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and the dosages were pretty comparable. We just answered this one, bro. I don't donate blood. I don't need to. Have you ever had red and cold skin on hands and feet? Yes, only when I go to colder climates because my body's now used to a hot climate. So it's when I went to Holland a couple years ago in the winter, I looked at my hand, it was blue. I'm like, what the fuck? And this is like 2 months after checking my ejection fraction coming back at like 68 or 72%. So I know I didn't have cardiac problems, right? But you would first think that that's like a circulatory issue, and you start getting edema and shortness of breath because the fluid is accumulating in your lungs. And then you look at your hand, it's all blue. But it was just fucking cold. I'm completely climatized to Thailand weather. Cold extremities and just TRT, hematocrit and estrogen are in range. I worry. I look unhealthy as hell. Yeah, it sounds that you have more things going on. So maybe oxidative stress or not enough calories. Maybe lack of B vitamins and not having red blood cells enough or not enough hemoglobin in the red blood cells, which gives it the red color, obviously. So do some blood work, man, and do some more activity and eat some more carbohydrates that will keep you hot as well. And they're very thermogenic. Carbohydrates and protein, pretty thermogenic. So maybe you're not eating enough, and maybe your red blood cells are just not properly done. I mean, if you look unhealthy as hell, then something more is going on than having colder extremities. First time poster, appreciate all the great content you've been pushing out. My pleasure, bro. I hope I can finally settle down into a routine and then do some more. How long is the Arnold? Planning on being there in the next one? I think it's 4 days or 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. But if you go there, you want to arrive the day before, maybe 2 days before it starts. So that's already 5 days, and then maybe a day longer to kind of see Columbus and go to some of the gyms there. So if I go to the Arnold, I'll be a week in Columbus. Yeah. Yeah, because I would like to go to some of the restaurants there and maybe do another podcast with Elite FTS, that's in the area. Well, I'm there anyways. I might as well do another podcast, right? And then go back to Vegas and enjoy some proper weather because during the Arnold it's fucking cold. Shit. Yeah, 3 days. What's your current favorite pre-workout aminos? So Somachem's previously Amino Asylum. I can't remember what the blends are, but still Super Shredder is my favorite. But they changed the name. I can find that real quick. Amino. Oh, not Amino Asylum. Somachem's. Let me see. What's the ATP AMP blend with albuterol in there? Are you 21 years of age? Yeah, I'm double that, bro. Let me in. 42 in a month, guys. Hope I don't die of old age. Mick Blend, Performance Peak, Power Blitz. That sounds like it. Power Burn. I haven't used theirs yet, but I will order some soon. I still have so much modern aminos. Yeah, so it's the Power Blitz or the Power Burn. Oh no, that's just albuterol. I need some ATP in there. Pump Blend, Pump Excel, Recovery, Sleep, Vitality, XXL Pump, Neurospark. These new names, man. Oh, that's not it. Oh, they don't have albuterol anymore. Metabolic Fire, it could be it. Oh yeah, that's the one. So from Somachems, I like Power Blitz and Metabolic Fire. Power Blitz has 400 milligrams carnitine, 40 milligrams ATP, and 5 milligrams AMP. Good for the off season. And a Metabolic Fire has 400 milligrams carnitine, Mick Blend 100 milligrams, so that's probably 50 milligrams, or yeah, like 25 milligrams methionine, 25 milligrams inositol, and 50 milligrams choline, or 33 milligrams of each. 50 milligrams ATP, 2 milligrams albuterol, and then 1 milligram B12. So that will be for cutting. And then you can do half cc each, man. Yeah, half a cc Power Blitz, half a cc Metabolic Fire, bilaterally. So you do 1 milliliter total. So that means 90 milligrams ATP. Oh man, vasodilation galore. But only if you can, if you can do this. You have boobas. Get out of my way. Get out of the way of the boobas here. If you can do this. It fucking jiggles. Fuck, I need to shave. Look at these boobas, man. Ugh. Yeah, it's coming off the bone. Steve is not big. Suck my balls. Suck my shrunken hairy balls. Actually, I shave. So those I like from Somachems. And then Modern Aminos as the motivator, which has NAD plus and what is it, betaine hydrochloride, so that's trimethylglycine. And oh man, amazing. Yeah, I've been using that quite a bit these last couple of weeks. And chest day, 1cc, fucking boobas right here. Steve, how many cc's? 500 cc's, bro. This morning they were 300, now they're 500 because of my injectable pre-workout. And don't forget to use the discount codes, guys. How's parent life? It's great. It's a lot of fun. It's very simple, actually. It's easy. Like, baby sleeps and then wakes up a little bit moving, arms all over the flailing arms, and you already know that she's hungry. So then you start preparing milk, or there's some breast milk, or my wife has full breasts, so she'll breastfeed. So when I give breast milk in the bottle, it's either formula or breast milk. It's about 50-50. And then you feed the baby for about 20 minutes, give or take, while you're frantically trying to, fight off the flailing arms and legs. So you keep her on your lap, and then you get kicked in the stomach in the fucking gyno, in the chest for 20 minutes while she's eating. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Please stop molesting me. And then she's done with the bottle, and then you have to either hold her on the shoulder or raise her a little bit, whatever burps her the best. So usually I raise her first, can shake, and not violent, but can shake it like a little bit of a Mexican piñata. And then she burps, and then she's happy. Then you let her rest a little bit, and then you take her to the cabinet and you change the diaper. Got to be super careful, of course, to get all the shit out of all the crevasses, and then put the clothes back on, and then depending if she's sleepy or not, or active, then you do the goo goo gaga, blah 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 blah, and then entertain her until she kind of nods off, and then into the crib, and then you got a 1 hour break, and then it starts all over again. An hour later, arch starts flailing. I started making some milk. Or 2 hours. Sometimes you get lucky. It's 4 hours. But it's great, man. It's everything I ever wanted. It's so much fun. I can't wait for them to grow up. And if I have 2 little rascals and we go to Disney World, that's what I'm really looking forward to. Like when they're both like 6, 7 years old. You start going to Disney World and then see like all the fucking rides and shit. And going shopping and stuff. Yeah, I'm waiting till you get some feedback. Right now I get only smiles and cries as feedback. But once I get some more feedback in the form of talking and being, bluntly truthful, right? Young kids don't lie. They just splurt out what they want to say. They'll learn to lie later on in life. Usually around puberty. So, did you smoke weed? No. No, I'm not high. Edsel, fucking eyes all bloodshot. Happened to me when I was 15. And my mom asked me, "Are you stoned?" "No, Mom." "Why are your eyes all red?" "I don't know. I was on the bicycle and a fly flew into my eyes." You're just fucking lying to your own mom. Should have just told her, said, "Yeah, Mom, I was a kite and I have some weed left. Do you want some?" Anyway, that's all in the pipeline. Can't wait for all of that stuff. Yeah. Imagine if my kids will... At one point, my kids will come home high. And then I have to tell them, what did you take? And see, I took some this and that and said, "Show me." So, well, when I was young, we didn't have to take 1,000 milligrams MDMA to get off. You just take 70 milligrams Mitsubishi's. Oh, man. When they're ready. Thank you for the SubQ answer. It sounded like you reserve this nootropic for intense productivity. Yeah, not anymore, man. I use bromantane, and I kind of moved away from SubQ and SLU. I think I bought it like a year ago, and then I occasionally use it. But I prefer bromantane and then alpha-GPC and dihexa and Nupept. And back then it wasn't available to me, but now I've been experimenting more, and I feel that the SubQ and SLU, the SubQ, if you run it for a while, it really gives you this crazy libido and stuff, and orgasm quality. For that reason alone, I should take it a little bit more often. But, with the kids, and sex life is a little bit, an afterthought. Because you're like trying to get busy, and then you're like, "Do I hear baby crying?" And it takes you out of the moment. That's young or early parenthood problems. And you can't focus. So yeah, we'll take the libido stimulating aids when we get a little bit better routine in that sense. You wouldn't recommend it for long-term neurogenesis supplement? No, I would take fluvoxamine or vortioxetine for that, or cerebrolacin. Because I think SubQ and SLU, and again, eventually I'll get on the brain-derived neurotropic factor deep dive, but I think that cerebrolacin and especially fluvoxamine or vortioxetine, those SSRIs, are way more potent for neurogenesis compared to SubQ and SLU. Because I've been on fluvoxamine now for years, and fuck, man, it's a game changer, dude. It's a game changer. I'm much more clear-headed than I ever was on SubQ and SLU, even after running it for like 2 months straight. Mr. Anderson started the first HRT Plus protocol. Thanks for your guidance. All right. Welcome to the club, bro. Enjoy that plus, and don't leave it at 1 plus. Right? A 1-star review is never a good review, so get yourselves up to 5 stars. And whether that's a hotel review or GTA, 5 stars is the best fun. I've been playing GTA San Andreas radio stations when I take my bike out in the evening. And those radio stations are fucking hilarious, right? Doesn't make any sense, all those commercials. So I'm laughing my fucking ass off in between AC/DC and and all the other rock that they play. So, yeah. And then I imagine myself getting 5 stars and having to race away from the cops and the tanks. And Yeah, but it's never going to happen here in Thailand. Every time the cops stop me and they just want to take pictures of my bikes. How many cc's, bro? They don't even ask me for my license. I got a fucking license. Finally, you can stop. I don't have to go around the police barricades. Can just stop there, probably show my license. Like, hey, you got it, guys. After 20 years, I finally got my license. And they don't even ask about it. You just want to see my muscles and my motorbikes. Oh, well. It's Helios Extreme. Yeah, I got some Helios here as well. Yeah, so I take the Motivator and Helios. Yeah, get some localized fat loss. I'm 42, September 3rd. Happy birthday, bro. Oh, fuck, that's in 3 days. On Wednesday. Good, man. I'll be 42 on September 28th, so that's a little bit later. So you got 4 weeks on me. 1, 2, 3, 3.5 weeks. Yeah. Sunday the 28th. And then my mom will be here, and we're going to go to Marriott Marquis and clean the buffet. Yeah, 5-star buffet. Hope you have a good time next week, man. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Do you intend on raising your child in Thailand for a long time? I've been considering moving to Thailand as well. If I did, I'd imagine I want to put a kid in Muay Thai. Are you going to do that? If she wants to do Muay Thai, then she can do Muay Thai. I mean, we'll stay here, obviously, because we have a house, we have 7 cats, and a kid, and then planning for another kid. So I'll stay in Thailand for as long as I enjoy myself, and if I don't know, the situation changes here. The rules here are basically gender fluid. So taxes, it's like this. They can't make up their fucking mind, man. Visas, just like this, can't fucking make up their mind. It's 30 days, 60 days. DTV visas, oh no, retract that. Elite visas, oh no, retract that. Right? It's here, dude, you have no idea what's going on. So as long as the going is good and they don't fuck it up too much with the restrictions, then we'll stay here. And that means raising our kids here. And dude, you can raise kids anywhere. It doesn't really matter, right? I don't think America or Europe is a particularly good place to raise kids. And even though the schooling might be better, I think the surroundings with, the drama between people is way worse than it is here. Here, people are very, very friendly. For example, I take my motorbike, my BMW down, and on the way down, I'm like, fuck, I'm never going to get it up because I don't have so much experience taking a gear bike up a hill. So, first I thought I'm going to go straight through the gate, ask them to open up the gate for me, right, as you exit, and then take a little bit of speed and then go up the ramp so I can keep it in gear 1 and have enough revs to keep my bike from stalling, right? My engine from turning off. Nope, because you go like, and it had a corner. So I go around the corner and I have 0 fucking space to get up some momentum. So I had to hill start. I couldn't get it done. It's like this high, dude. In the fucking basement, the parking was. So after like 5 attempts, like all these motorbike taxi guys or the Grab taxi guys, they started laughing. They said, "Oh, you have a big bike, well, you can't use it in Thai." Fucking embarrassed. "Oh, we'll push you up." So you have a whole team, myself and like motorbike guys pushing my 300 kilograms, 700-pound BMW up the ramp. And we're all laughing our fucking ass off, So I don't think it would happen in Holland, man. People would just fucking bitch and let you sit there and start yelling at you. And in America and other places as well, they just fucking yell at you. And here in Thailand, they just fucking laughed their ass off. Same thing. I was at the car wash, not knowing how to use the equipment, all in Thai, obviously. Takes only 20 baht notes, and guess who didn't have any 20 baht notes? That's like 75 dollar cents. And then the guy comes up to me and explains it to me and said, "I don't have any 20 bahts." There's a motorcycle taxi guy said he whips out a whole stack of 20 baht notes. And he whips out a 100 baht note out of my hand and then gives me 5 20 baht note back and then explains it to me. I mean, Thailand is not perfect, but the interactions I have with people here is fantastic every single day, the whole day. And I've never had that anywhere else. And I've been to a lot of countries, dude. I've been to a lot of countries. So, no, this is the place to be. And the expats are way nicer here as well because they finally relax and calm down. You don't have to be on edge like you do have to be in the Western world. So, yeah, I'll send my kids to school here, private school. It'll cost an arm and a leg, but I've made my money, so it's not a problem. And if you want to move to Thailand, then come here for a holiday first and have a look around and see if you like it. If you like it, there's options. God damn, something is itchy in my eye now. Ugh. Did I wash my hands after petting my cats? Probably not. I love live stuff, so much more interactive. Yeah, that's what she said. It's either Pornhub or the Peep Show. Going to start my TRT journey. 150 milligrams testosterone split twice a week intramuscularly. 125 IOs HCG twice a week. SubQ would be enough to prevent ball shrinkage. I have 2 kids. I would do 50 milligrams testosterone Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 250 IOs HCG Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Do blood work 4 weeks into it. See if you need an aromatase inhibitor. It's probably likely. 125 IOs HCG twice per week will make you shrink your balls, but 250 IOs 3 times per week will keep them nice and voluminous and slappable. I'm not against you, obviously, but against the fucking butt cheeks. Yeah, you know, depending on the position. Either butt cheeks or the fucking pussy. Or the chin. If you know, you know, bro. Or the forehead. The nose. If you have 2 kids, you probably don't do that anymore. I kind of missed the early stages. My daughter turns 30 next. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, 30. Oh, man, you got a whole different kind of issues going on. Bringing, it's going to be my husband. And you don't really like the guy, but you tolerate it anyway. 30 years old, Jesus. Oh, that's 30 years away from me. I'll be 80. No, 70. Just got to make it up until that point. Professor Dad 2000. Glad you're having dad fun cutting on 150 milligrams TRT per week. Doing 1, I use growth hormone. 2, I use MOTS-c. So that's what? 2, I use MOTS-c? Sounds like nothing. SLU, methylene blue. Going to add in Tren 30 milligrams per week, but I'm 50. Concerns. Blood pressure and anger. But if you're 50, you're probably better at anger management than a 25-year-old. I would keep track of your blood pressure. Your channel is a lifeline to a noob like me. Okay, so... can you run Tren at 50? Yeah, I mean, you can if you're healthy, but blood pressure would be an issue. The blood pressure goes up easier as you get older, and Trenbolone is notorious for blood pressure. Even at 30 milligrams per day, it might change it a little bit. So you might need a blood pressure medication like telmisartan or nebivolol. That's the first line of defense. And then, watch the blood pressure deep dive that I did with the boys, Dr. Dean St. Mart and Kurt Havens, where I offer a fuckload of options, including electrolyte management. So yeah, look there. But I think 150 tests and 30 milligrams of Tren is fine, even if you're 50. I wouldn't be adverse to it. Do you have any idea if Bioglutide will be crazy expensive? No, I have no idea. But I think it's going to hit the market in about 2 months, and it will be competitive. Right? Because multiple places will source it. And in the beginning, it might be a little bit more expensive. And then, but it's not the Chinese resellers. It's the gray area peptide websites that mark it up. I mean, the markup on some of these products is insane. But then again, you got to cover for 10% discount. You got to cover for 20%, 25% affiliate commissions, and then shipping and the factoring in the third-party testing, which is also like $350, $200 per vial, per batch. So yeah, that all adds up. So maybe in China you can get 10 vials for $50, and then by the time it hits the Western world, it's $100 per 1 vial. It sucks, but that's the reality of it. You know? Jesus Christ, my eyes really... Something got in there. Well, 15 more minutes, and I'm going to rinse my eye with water. Yeah, nobody disliking, man. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Nobody gives a shit. Any tips for lowering prostate-specific antigen? Measured at 3.2, then at 3.6 at 33. Did a prostate exam, and the doc confirmed no issues. Yeah, don't masturbate the day before, because prostate-specific antigen is a marker of inflammation. Doesn't mean you have cancer. Oh, fuck it, my eye is completely red now. Must have put some cat juice in there. Fuck. So if you're smoking, it can increase prostate-specific antigen. If you have intercourse or masturbating the day before doing blood work, it can raise prostate-specific antigen. I mean, porn stars have notoriously high PSA levels because they have a lot of intercourse, obviously, and you know, especially with all the slamming and stuff. Yeah, they and the penis pumping. It's a little bit more activity down there than general population. So what lowers PSA? Bring your inflammation down and then taking a week off from intercourse. And then if it's still bad, then you might have to look into your DHT levels or what is causing the inflammation. Is that the synthetic carrier oil? Is that smoking, drinking, lifestyle changes? And it could be a lot of root causes there. And if you take the root cause away, then the PSA will come down to 0.4, which is, or 0.5, which is a normal reading. What do you think is less detrimental? Benjamin, Adderall or IV ephedrine? The ephedrine, I would not do IV. And the Adderall is oral. Like if you have injectable ephedrine, I would take it SubQ. I mean, it lasts for about 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's more than potent enough. I would not do that IV, man. That's a lot of beta agonism in one shot. So take it SubQ and take the Adderall orally. And then it depends on the dose. I did like injectable ephedrine, though. It really kept me going during those fucking world championships. Twice a day, dude. Half a cc, 20 milligrams. Boom. Let's go. Or was it 20 milligrams per meal? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been ages. What bike do you have? What bike I don't have? I have a Yamaha NMAX 150 cc's that's going to be sold soon. I have a BMW R1250 RT. That thing is a fucking beast. It's completely kitted out with Wonderlic accessories. So I got the crash bars and the engine protection cover and a quad lock for my phone, obviously. And that's it. I'm going to keep that one classy. So it's all official Wonderlic stuff. And I don't have any heaters for my handlebar because it's not needed. And the seat is absolutely fantastic. So I didn't feel the need to change that. And then I have a Honda NM4, which is completely kitted out in gold tack wrap. So that's vinyl cover. And then I have a crocodile seat cover. Real crocodile leather. It was like fucking $700 for crocodile leather. So that I got changed. And then I'll put the handlebar blinkers in there. I ordered online, and then I got one piece. Fucking assholes. I need two. Sell it as a fucking kit. So I waited 2 weeks, and the handlebar blinker came in. Beautiful. Right? It looks very, very strong. Could even act as a crash protection. Very, very strong. But I got one. So I had to order another one for the other side. So that's on the way. I got a soundbar from Kurarikin or something like that. Soundbar is on the way. And then it put the underglow in there and that Thunder exhaust. What is it called? Anyway, I'll put some pictures online when it's done. What is it called? Tail gunner exhaust. So I got a custom tail gunner exhaust, 2 Gatling guns that spin as you give gas. So that one is completely kitted out. Honda NM4. It looks like a fucking cartoon character by the time I'm done with it. And it will be the fucking most epic bike ever. And I put some reflecting stuff on the rims so the wheels looks like they're on fire when they're rolling. and if I can, in the tail gunner exhaust, I might put like one of those systems where it gives a little bit of gas, and then when you rev it, it shoots fire. Well, I have to see if that doesn't ruin my vinyl wrap. And then I got a electric chopper on the way. It's in America, it's called an Aora. I'll put that down below. Aora chopper, not Sephora. Eora. I'll put that upside down below. They have choppers that are electric. They're quite long. So I'm getting a 4,000 watts, 72 volts electric scooter, but it's basically a chopper. It goes 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers per hour. And then, I'll add some bells and whistles to that as well. And then if I get a bigger house, I want to import a Honda Rune, a Valkyrie Rune. I want to import a Honda DN01. I want to import a Harley Davidson V-Rod. Thank you, Sean Sullivan. And then I might get myself a XDFL V4 and a Triumph Rocket 3 GT. So the handlebars are a little bit bigger. So I have like, I want to have like 7 cruisers. 1 electric. So 1 BMW cruiser, 1 Harley Davidson, 3 Hondas. Hondas has the best cruisers, man. Let's be fucking honest here. If I can get a Goldwing alongside of that, I'll fucking do it too. And then some EV. I looked at EVs all over the planet. They have beautiful EVs in Europe, like a Verge or a Tacoma from Italy. But they're $40,000 already, which means another $40,000 import tax. And this electric chopper in China that you get from Alibaba, they're like $2,300. So you'll pay another $2,300 import tax and maybe another $500 service fee, which brings the total to pretty similar what they sell in the United States. I think they go for about $5,000 to $6,000 there, $6,300. So I get a little bit cheaper, but I'm closer to China, and I know my customs guys. So the goal is 7 choppers or 7 motorbikes, all cruiser type. I don't want to do sports bike. The XDFL V4 from Ducati will be the closest I'll have to a sports bike. But I'm an old man. I need a little bit bigger bike that goes a little bit slower so I don't lane split and kill myself. But yeah, the goal is 7 motorbikes. I have 3 so far. Or 2 in the pocket, 1 on the way. Can't wait. Small token of appreciation for the Thailand starter kits. All right, I sent it to you, right? Much appreciated, dude. I hope it helps. Hey, Papa Steve, 175 milligrams test, 91 milligrams Primo. That's very specific. 5 milligrams Cialis daily, 10 milligrams VAR daily. Planning to add in 50 milligrams MPP for joints and tendons. What do you think of that protocol? Sounds fine to me. What can I expect? What should I change? What about Deca? On 50 milligrams MPP, you will not have any Deca. You can even bump it up to 100 milligrams. I would do 175 test, 100 Primo, 100 MPP, and then 10 milligrams VAR daily with 5 milligrams Cialis daily. You'll be totally fine, dude. You'll be totally fine. The Primo should suppress your estradiol, and the Cialis will suppress your estradiol as well. I think you might hold a little bit more water. And again, on this protocol, maybe add in, or maybe do your blood work 4 weeks into this change to see if estradiol doesn't come up too much. But I think you'll have a great result, man. And Deca is not going to happen. On 50 to 100 milligrams MPP per week, it's not going to happen. Don't worry about it. 30 milligrams Tren per week. Hell yeah. Low dose goes a long way. I might add in 50 milligrams. So nobody tried the Deca Tren Tristalone combination, right? Where's Dr. Tristalone? Augmented athlete. Bro, have you ever combined Deca with Trenbolone and Tristalone together? So I'm thinking about 300 tests, 300 Deca, 150 mint, which I'm running right now, and then 50 milligrams Trenbolone on top. And then I might ramp that up depending on side effects. Because I just want to get a killer physique again. It's been years. Let me know. Where are we? Where are we? Sorry, one more. Tren, 30 milligrams per week, split into 3 doses, SubQ or intramuscular. TRT is SubQ per meric. I would just mix it in with your TRT and do SubQ. If that works. I did 25 milligrams SubQ, so that was, what was it? 2 milligrams, 3 milligrams per day. SubQ. Worked well, man. Heat, seeing Mastron being called both an AI and a SERM from your experience, which is true, if not both, adding it to my cycle soon, bloods will guide me, but curious what to expect. It can be both, like Mastron, in some people it lowers estradiol, apparently in other people it doesn't. It keeps estrogen the same, so it might have to do with your individual aromatase enzymes. Maybe some people, Mastron can enter in their aromatase enzymes and lower estradiol levels by preventing the conversion of testosterone into estradiol. And does it act as a selective estrogen receptor modulator? I don't think it necessarily interacts with the estrogen receptor, but it might prevent estrogen-mediated gene transcription by taking away the cofactors which the cofactors between the androgen receptor and the estrogen receptors are similar. So if masteron steals the cofactors away from the estrogen receptor because it needs them from the androgen receptor, then the estrogen-mediated gene transcription is no longer present. And you could say that that's a SERM effect, but it doesn't interact with the estrogen receptor directly. It just prevents it from working. Now, this hasn't been shown for masteron scientifically, neither is there any scientific evidence that shows that masteron acts as an aromatase inhibitor. Again, it's all speculation based on the chemical structure and what we see anecdotally based on blood work. But for DHT, it's been shown to inhibit estrogen-mediated gene transcription in cancer studies where DHT has an anti-cancer effect. And since masteron is chemically similar to DHT, it's speculated that masteron and maybe even primobolan and nandrolone even for that sense, because nandrolone, masteron, and primobolan in the scientific literature stemming from the 60s and 70s was shown to have the same efficacy with the outcome of the reduction of breast cancer, but only masteron was marketed as a breast cancer medication. Primobolan was prescribed off-labelly as a breast cancer medication, but there's also a good amount of studies on breast cancer. I would just say that masteron is more like a cosmetic enhancing compound. It doesn't really put muscle on you unless you abuse it to the point of 1 gram, 2 grams. Whereas with Primo, from 350 milligrams onwards or 300 milligrams per week onwards, you already see a pronounced anabolic effect. So you don't hear people running 1 gram of Primo or more than 1 gram of Primo because they don't need it. You get all the anabolic benefits from 1 gram of Primo. Why would you run any more? Whereas other guys run 2 grams of masteron, and then they say, masteron's the best compound ever. Well, it's 1 gram versus 2 grams. Milligram for milligram, you get a more pronounced effect with primobolan. But hey, some guys have an agenda to push, and they bring their egos into it. So, they're married to masteron and telmisartan. Masteron is my wife. "2019 murdered out nitrot." Yeah, like the last year, the last edition, and then you get it fucking kitted out, dude. All black, matte, fucking super low handlebar. This much after the back seat, right? So if you ride in the rain, your whole back is covered. And then you have like fucking a 300 millimeter tire in the back. Oh. And an exhaust that would wake up all the dogs and the babies in the neighborhood. Haven't used Deca, but I plan to blast mint this week, so who knows? Okay. Well, I guess I'll be the first one. Maybe 200 milligrams each, Deca, mint, testosterone, enanthate, but now I can tolerate enanthate for some reason. Yeah, as you get older, or maybe you get a better source. I don't know. This 300 test, 300 Deca, and 150 mint cycle, which was inspired by my off-season cycle last year. I mean, it's like the best cycle ever. I feel great. I'm energetic. I'm fucking strong. I max out all the weights. Free weights is still not super heavy, but, I really focus on the movement and the contraction. But, yeah, I'm back up to 8 plates for the leg press. But I do it a lot slower. And 100-pound dumbbells for chest, which, again, I'm never a great pusher, but, I really do it well. So, yeah, I might just throw in a little bit of Tren and see what happens. But it depends on my blood work. Steve, are there some compounds that you can mix together in the same syringe? I don't mix anything in the same syringe unless it comes pre-mixed, like Glow, for example, TB500, BBC157, GHK copper, and KPV from modern aminos. Or Clo, that's with the K. You have Glow, that's GHK copper, and Clo, that's with KPV and GHK copper. Makes me think about that movie, Black Klansman. That was a great movie, by the way. Did you guys watch that movie, Black Klansman? About some guy that wants to infiltrate the KKK, but he's black. Great movie, dude. Give it a watch. He starts calling the KKK, and then he acts like a cracker, like a white man, trying to get into the fucking KKK. Yeah. What one letter can do to your mind. Let's see. So I don't mix anything together because, like, I mixed insulin and growth hormone one time together, and it completely denatured the peptide. You don't want to lose your growth hormone. Maybe it denatured the insulin. That's not a big fat problem because insulin's cheap, but growth hormone is expensive, bro. What does Nan, my wife, think about all the motorcycles? So she's not too happy. But she understands. Like, dude, I lived below my means for years, man. I never bought anything. And then now I've reached all my goals. I got kids, and I reached my financial goals, and I'm just fucking enjoying myself for the first time in a long time. And that means that all that bundled up looking at motorcycles but never buying them is now released. And that means I'm going to buy other motorcycles. I had a great run in cryptocurrency, man. If I buy $10,000, $40,000 motorcycles, it doesn't make a difference. So, but yeah, she obviously wants me to drive carefully. So I drive carefully. That's why I have cruisers. You can't lane split. You can't do anything crazy. You're mostly stuck in traffic during the day. So I take them out for a spin at night at 1 o'clock in the morning. I go through Sukhumvit Road. And then I go to the other side of the river where there's just open highways, 4 lanes. And then you stay in the middle lane and you just rip and have fun. And then especially on the bridges where there's no risk of, cars coming from left and right. And usually on the bridges over the river here in Bangkok, there's no traffic. There's nobody. Well, besides other riders. So once in a while you meet another rider and you're like, yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm just driving around because there's no traffic. And I see guys on Triumphs and Harleys and fucking Kawasaki's and even dirt bikes. And just, you cruise together. Yeah, you cruise together. It's fun. But she prefers me not to ride motorbikes, obviously, because, well, they're death machines, as you see 1,000 times over. So you got to be really, really careful. Yeah, the actor that's Denzel Washington's son. Yeah, he's a great actor, by the way. Great actor. He did very well in that sci-fi movie, which I forgot the name, and Tenet, and Black Klansman. And yeah, I like that actor. I like Denzel Washington also. My N-word. Can't say it if you're Caucasian, but he said it the best. Denzel said it the best. Very loving and, caressing since he said it. I'll figure out the dosing start on Monday morning, see if I can get it under 800 milligrams weekly. Just careful of being 50 years old, but ancillaries are on deck for sure. Yeah, I think if you're below a gram, I try to keep it below a gram also. So I'll do like 300 tests. But then last year I did 1,500 milligrams and it was fine too. So I did 300 tests, 300 Deca, 150 Trestlon, 50 Tren, maybe bumping that up to 150 over a couple of weeks. And then it's 900 milligrams. Oh, 900 milligrams to be 230-pound rips. No big deal. Also, oral Primo feels like providing cosplaying instead of it's like a budget cosplay. Yeah, oral Primo, fuck, man. Can I get a Vigorous fragrances topics? Dude, I'd never used fragrances. Ever in my life. I don't like it. And then, when you're young, girls give it to you like a fragrance, I would just fucking toss it away. So, I don't like it. I don't like fragrances at all. And I was always able to get laid without it, so. It's funny. The girls in the clubs would be so fucking wasted, right? They'd come up to you and then give you a pickup line and say, oh, you smell nice. I said, bitch, I'm not wearing any fragrance. So what do I smell like? And then they already don't know what to say. I said, do I smell like sweat and cigarettes? Because I don't wear any fragrance, girl. So I either smell like sweat or cigarettes. So yeah, you do smell a little bit like sweat. I said, do you want to get out of here and grab a shower? And you're out the door. No fragrances required. Just need to tell them to shut the fuck up. And leave the one-liners to the boys. They smell like Tren. Dude, if a woman comes up to me, you smell like Tren, that's a guaranteed rim job. On her. You smell like Tren. You smell like acetate. Bite the pillow. Yeah, if I probably smell like Tren in 2 weeks. Yeah, do some blood work, see where we're at, and then put it in the tremoloni sandwich, man. Fuck it. What's your take on stacking 19 Nors and why is it so demonized? There's some bodybuilders out there who stand by stacking them with clean. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now, Tristalone and Deca. And I'm like, fuck it, why not throw in a little bit of Trimolone sandwich, see what's going on? Because on Tristalone and Deca, 400 milligrams combined, I feel great. I look great. I'm lean. Dude, I'm flat, obviously, but I'm lean, you know. My lower back is getting in. Of course, it's very flabby. But see, this is the worst thing ever, dude. When you walk, and then you get these skin folds. So in the morning, I look quite lean. I have, but I'm still 10% body fat and a little bit watery, but that's okay. So I don't know. It's demonized because you got a lot of progestogenic activity, which is good for collagen synthesis, but it's terrible for prolactin levels. But prolactin is always in range for me because I eat healthy and my dopamine levels are off the scale. So I'm just going to push it. I said, fuck it. I'm going to combine all of the 19 Nors, not check drops. That's a 19 Nor also, I think. And see what happens. Because the last time I was on Tren, I wasn't really an issue. I had a little bit of wheeziness, which I can mitigate with myo-inositol tripyrophosphate, which I have laying around here. So I'll just go straight to 50 milligrams and then see what happens, and then maybe bump it up to 150 if needed. But I'm strong as an ox. I'm using 20 IU's growth hormone post leg day once a week, and all the Increlex that I have in the fridge, 1 milligram per day, 2 milligrams another day. Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, 1 milligram in the morning, 1 milligram in the evening. Otherwise, it's not going to use itself. It's not going to finish itself. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. Next week I'll fast though. Just want to get rid of a little bit of fat and then do some blood work after that. Some excuse for videos. Please tell me how to do an effective PCT without Clomid or enclomiphene. Well, you can use tamoxifen. That also raises luteinizing hormone, a follicle stimulating hormone. But enclomiphene and Clomid is just better at that. So you might need to use tamoxifen longer than Clomid and enclomiphene because you need more of a blockade. So you might need to use 40 milligrams tamoxifen for 6 weeks, 8 weeks before HPTA really recovers. Whereas with high dose Clomid or enclomiphene, you get the job done in 4 weeks in most cases. Jinjeru. Appreciate you, Steve. I've lost over 140 pounds because of your priceless information you've given me. Thank you again, Steve, forever. All right, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Happy it was helpful. Happy to hear it was helpful. Yeah. Man, I can't imagine losing 140 pounds. I usually stay around the same weight, but I replace the muscle with fat and vice versa. I usually hover around 100, 110 kilos. I'm about 105 now. Yeah. Thick. In the upper body, the lower body is, don't ask me about it. I'm doing my best, but at 42 years old, it's not going to go well. Peptides asleep outside of cerebrolysin. Delta sleep-inducing peptides never really did anything for me, but some people swear by it. And there's injectable melatonin out there. It's not really a peptide, but worth looking into. But yeah, I never have a problem with sleeping, man. If anything, I fall asleep too early. Like yesterday, it was 2 o'clock in the morning around this time. Now it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Normally, I stay awake until 4. But yesterday, I was out with the cats. We had to go to the what is it called? The vet, because they needed to do dental cleaning. Need to do that a couple times in their lifetime. So I took 3 cats to the vet, and then I went to the gym, and then I dropped the car off at the car wash first, and then I went to the gym, then I picked up the car, and then I went to pick up the cats, and then it was super traffic, and then one of the cats escaped from the enclosure, so I had a cat running around that was all loopy, trying to get in between my legs, and of course on the fucking accelerator. So I had a wonderful trip home for 1 hour. And then I was pretty sleepy at 2 o'clock in the morning. Holy shit. I'm so tired. So I made some formula for my wife, and then I let her handle the nighttime feeding. But yeah, I never have a problem with sleep, man. A clear conscience helps a lot. If you don't have anything troubling to think about before bed. You just fucking had a good day today. And then you're gone. Not like, I screwed these people over and then you can't sleep. I said this bad thing about this person and can't sleep either. Should have all this outstanding debt. Can't sleep. I really shouldn't have said that to this girl. I can't sleep. So just stop giving a fuck and you don't need any peptides. But cerebrolacin is a good sleep aid, man. That made me sleep like a baby. Yeah, and GH, the holy hand grenade knows. Delta sleep inducing peptide and a high dose growth hormone. Man, I do my leg workout, very violent, very aggressive, a lot of swearing, a lot of sweating, and maybe a couple farts. Some of them are wet. Heavy leg presses, full range of motion, knees to chest, 2 seconds in the hole. So yeah, it's not pretty, leg day. And then I take 2.5 milligrams Nebivolol and 20 milligrams growth hormone before bed. And then I'm drooling. You got the CPAP here and then drool, on the pillow. And then I wake up and the drool is all fucking, solidified. So I have to rip the pillow off my fucking mouth and then rip the nasal pillow from the CPAP machine off my face. And you got all these fucking abrasions all over my skull. And then I walk to the mirror and then it looks like he just came out of a horror movie. Yeah, and then the day starts. Yeah, then the day starts. All right, guys, let's throw in the towel. It's been long enough. No more super chats. Let's see if there's anything interesting. This one is interesting. Well, we're on the topic of progesterone prolactin from the 19 How would we combat it without Caber? There are studies on Winnie treating hyperprogesterone. What's your take on it? So you can't offset the progesterone from the 19 because they have progesterone-like activity on the progesterone receptor, which is good in skeletal muscle. You get some extra collagen synthesis and potentially anabolism out of it. Like progesterone has some anabolic properties. That's why it goes so high during pregnancy, progestation, and prolactin obviously comes from progesterone receptor agonism, especially if estrogen is high, because high estrogen and progesterone receptor agonism is a recipe for high prolactin. But high dopamine levels coming from trenbolone or L-tyrosine as part of a nootropic stack, and vitamin B6, B5P, which converts the L-tyrosine into dopamine downstream, and L-dopa first and then dopamine, that suppresses prolactin. And something like modafinil, for example, with dopaminergic effects, or other drugs with dopaminergic effects, might help suppress your prolactin. Now, progesterone, net actual progesterone, is not an issue because you're suppressing your HPTA, and unless you're really hammering the mitochondrial support stacks, which produce pregnenolone, which could downstream convert into progesterone, your progesterone levels should not be so high. So you get a progesterone-like effect from the 19 Nors, but not the actual progesterone is not an issue. Unless you take high-dose pregnenolone supplementation, which I don't think you need to go over 25 milligrams per day, with 50 milligrams DHEA, and or you hammer the mitochondrial support stack, So I don't think it's an issue. But if you keep your dopamine levels high, then prolactin shouldn't be an issue. And Winstrol has an anti-progesterone effect because it blocks the progesterone receptor. So it doesn't treat hyperprogesterone, it blocks the progesterone receptor. That's why it's better not to combine 19-or testosterone derivatives with Winstrol, because you lose out on the beneficial effects of the progesterone agonism. Then again, if you're on trenbolone and your skin is thick and it's coming from the progesterone receptor agonism from the trenbolone, right, 19-or testosterone derivative progestogenic effects, Winnie offsets that and lowers or makes the skin texture get smaller because it inhibits collagen synthesis in the skin, making it thinner. All right. Hope that makes sense. 2 more super chats and we're out of here. I got enclomiphene and DMSAO, currently tapering off TRT. What can I do about the smell of DMSAO? Any alternatives? Just buy the oral version, dude. Come on. Don't need to rub that on your nuts. Thanks for the stream and all the info. And with that, we're closing it off. $50 super chat. Nobody's going to do any better than Andy, the drummer. Andy, tomorrow I will have not a steak because the steaks are $100, but I'll definitely have a cheesecake and tiramisu in your honor. This should be more than enough, and probably a $5 milkshake, which is now $10. Right? That's a damn good shake. Oh, Pulp Fiction, guys, Pulp Fiction. So I'll probably have a $10 shake that should be a $5 shake, but inflation is a bitch. This should more than cover it. Andy, thank you so much. If I have a moon face on Monday, it's your fault. And with that, we're at the end of the Vigorous Q&A. We'll see you guys next time. I'm not sure when that is. I'll try to do one more before my mom comes over because she comes in the middle of September. She comes on the 14th. So maybe Saturday the 13th. So 2 weeks from now. And then I'm off the grid with my mom and my wife and my daughter and my wife's mom and maybe her brother as well. And then we'll do some road trips. Put that EV to use. Yeah, put that Chinese MG IL-6 EV to use. So many abbreviations. And then see if we can get like, 300 kilometers out of that charge. All right, guys, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And then after that, I'm not entirely sure, but I'll try to show my face as much as possible. Tomorrow's blood work, so at least there's a blood work video next week. And then I'll disclose my entire cycle and what else we're doing. And maybe some body shots. I'm starting to look pretty good. Not right now because now I'm bloated, but in the morning I look pretty decent. All right, guys, see you soon. Take it easy and enjoy your weekend.